some freestanding walls, fireplace, and some new landscaping around the house. So we'll go over the plan here, kind of look at what we got. This is our back of the house here. This is our stoop right here, as you can see over here, where all our stuff is at. And then we've got a little grill island here. We've got a table out here, whatever. We got our fireplace here, and then freestanding walls. And then these three things on the corner, those are planters. So that's going to be built around it, retaining wall, dirt in the middle for planting. Then we've got benches here. Those are wooden benches that are going to be going in. So, and then landscape edging, we've got our stone edging, which if you guys want to see how to install the stone edging or what that looks like, link in the description for another video about that. But we're going to be talking about here today is kind of getting everything prepped for the base of the patio. I got a guy who asked me in the last video to make a video about prepping the base and getting everything set up like that. He's a younger kid who is just starting his own landscaping business. He's got his own lawn care business now, so this video is for you. So what we're going to be doing is we measured everything out to where we need to be. Ducky, if you want to come out here, we can look at it this way. We can see the whole yard obviously slopes extremely far. It's way steeper than what we're going to have. So what we did is we went probably about 6 feet past where the edge of the patio is going to be, so we can taper the yard out and then put new sod in. So our patio is really going to end probably about here somewhere, but it's also going to probably be about this high. And then from there, we're going to taper the dirt out slowly, so it's not just so we're not just going to steep slope down. We're going to have that tapered out nice, and then we're going to do sod over that. Over here we're going to have a planting bed as you saw in the plan. So that's why we have it dug out so far. So first thing, we get all the sod out of sight. Bolton already took a truckload out of here. We've got another pile here waiting to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start taking, because we're going to put 8 inches of class 5 gravel base in here. We're going to dig everything, all this dirt down on the top side. We're going to get it 8 inches below our point. And we're going to take all that dirt and we're going to put it down here, and we're going to use that to start leveling. Otherwise, down here we probably have 16 inches of class 5 going in, and then we'd be taking the dirt out down there. So there's no reason to have 16 inches of class 5. So we're going to take some of the dirt from the top side, put it on the bottom side to try to get us more of a level pad area. And we'll probably take some of this dirt down here to use it for the sod area too. So let's grab the laser, Ducky. So first thing we did when we started here is we got our laser set up. We took a grade off our step here, and we measured each step as a 7-inch step. So we want our top of pavers to be 7 inches down from the top of the step. So each step is the same height all the way up from your patio all the way to the top. So we took our grade here, dropped it 7 inches to get us top of pavers. Now our pavers are 2 3/4 inches thick, and our float layer of sand is 1 inch thick. So that's 3 3/4 inches. So we went down 3 3/4 inches, and that's going to give us our top of gravel height. So we adjusted for that, and then we're going to have 8 inches of gravel, so we went down another 8 inches. So overall, what is that? That's 9, that's 12, 11, 10, 11, something like that. Anyways, point is, we went down that far, and that's going to give us our sub base. So now we know what height we need to be at up here. We can start digging all this down and putting all that dirt down there. When we go from there to here, we're going to have 2.5 inches of drain on the patio. So this end down here of the patio is going to be 2.5 inches lower than the top end of the patio. So we have to account that into it as well when we're running our laser. So this laser measurement's only accurate at the top. So we're going to jump in the machine and start digging that down to our right height and bringing the dirt down to this side.
From top side to me, drop an inch looks perfect right now.
Alright guys, so we have got everything kind of cut out, scun down. Our sub base is set up. You can see here where we dug out on this top side, took all that stuff, put it down to the bottom side and raised that up. So sub base is right where it needs to be. I took the machine here, drove back and forth on it 1,000 times almost, and really packed it down a bunch since our the compactor won't really compact well on this because it's so clay and mucky. So we use that to pack it down. We've got it set up for 8 inches of gravel and then our 3.5 inches of sand and pavers on top of that. And that should get us right in close to the bottom of that step there. So we have a 7-inch step again. Then we've got 2.5 inches of drop from the top side to down here. So everything drains out towards me and we're gonna be perfectly flat this way, side to side on the house. So we're just waiting on Colton now to get back with some gravel. We're gonna start graveling this in, and then over here we're gonna start with our walls probably first thing, doing our walls on this side. So just waiting on gravel now and for the material to get here. So we're gonna take a quick lunch and hopefully they'll get here soon. All right guys, so you can see here we got 6 ton of gravel in here. It hasn't gotten us that far. So what we're doing is leveling out this corner. This is where our pillar piece is going to start. We're going to have that pillar and then freestanding wall running along here. You can see a little bit of white paint where we marked it out on the ground over in that corner where it's going to go to. So we're just going to get all our gravel in one area so we can get started there. And then we're going to start building there, wait for Colton to come, and you know, we can just build this while we're waiting for gravel. He's going to have to probably get the next load he's getting now, and then probably another load after that, maybe one more after that. So we're just waiting. Need a bigger truck. Alright guys, so we are getting started on, we've got the base in now, and we're getting started on the base for the patio. So you can see the base for the wall is going in. Our patio base is going to be 1 inch taller than our wall base over here. So Colton's trucking that in. We've been compacting this in about 4-inch layers. Our compactor can do 4 to 6 inches of compaction at a time, and we've got 8 inches here. So we've already got a compaction or two on everything here. We've gone over it a few times. And every time you use some gravel base like this or any type of gravel base, it works a lot better when it's wet than when it's dry. When it's dry like this, it doesn't compact as well. So we sprayed everything down. We got it, you know, wet and then compacted it. You don't want to get it too wet because it'll start to just get muddy like you can see here. That's how you can see you're starting to get it a little too wet. There you go. So it's not perfect right now. We're not trying to get it too close or anything. We're just getting it in here, getting it compacted and getting it somewhat close to height that we need it. And then we'll come back and fine tune it once our wall's done. But we want to get our wall work and everything done first. Usually every job we do, we like to get the wall work done first. Then we know where everything needs to be built out to be, and it kind of locks everything in for us. So Colton's going on the machine here, trucking the gravel in. So we compacted the sub base. We put 4 inches of gravel in, wet it down, got it pretty close to level. And that's the other thing, even though it's not perfectly level, is you want to have it pretty close to level because you don't want to have a bunch of humps and bumps because your compactor won't get ideal compaction on it then. So somewhat close to level. Like this here, we wouldn't compact because it's just too big of humps and bumps. So we got to get those out. We got to fix all that in this area here. So just up there you can see where we got it and just got everything kind of close so we could do the wall parts and stuff like that. So it's coming along. Looks like we're probably going to need another truckload of gravel in here. This stuff's got to come up about 1 inch or so. So 4-inch compaction layers, depending on your compactor size, the weight of it and what it specs out for. That's what this 1550 we would recommend, I guess, is 4 inches at a time. Wet it down and make sure it's somewhat level. So. Alright, so we've got the whole area leveled using the laser. We set our grade points and checked everything, and then we just eyeballed it with our lewd over here. If you're going to be doing patio base like this, I would recommend lewd like that. Makes it a lot easier. So we just used everything with the laser. We haven't compacted it since yesterday when it was really rough, so we're going to run the packer over it a few times here. And then from there, we're going to use our levels to check everything. Now we're wetting it down here. I wet it down a bit before lunch. Water is going to help this whole patio settle a bit, and it's going to help it pack a little bit better too, so that's why we water it down. If you have access to water on a site, definitely water everything down. The best thing you can do for a base like this that's just put in is, the best thing that could happen is it gets rained on before you pack it, and then let it rain on it overnight, or get it really wet and just let it settle itself. Water does wonders when it comes to settling base, so that's exactly what we're doing here. So we're going to run the packer on it a bit, and then we're going to kind of go over, get the humps and bumps out. You'll see which areas settle more than others at that point, and that's where you got to add gravel or take gravel away and go from there. We should be pretty close though. Alright, so what we're doing here is we got everything compacted. We ran the level around in a few spots, checked a few spots. We found a few spots in here that were high and a couple spots that were low. So we just eyeballed it, pushed some gravel around, and then we went over everything and compacted it again. So you can see the whole area is one compacted area. There's no roughed up spots. Now what we're going to do is lay the pipes down, our screed pipes, which are 1-inch screed pipes. This is what we'll put the sand on top of, and we'll take the 6-foot level or a screed tool, whatever you have to use. You could use a 2x4, anything. Just make sure it's straight, not warped. You don't want to have a warped surface and there's only a little bit of sand underneath here. Whatever you use has to be perfectly straight. Then we'll pull the sand out, screed it out that way. But what I'm doing is running the level from pipe to pipe, making sure it's level. So here I can see we're just slightly lower on this side, maybe 1/8 of an inch low over here. So what we're going to do is get the pipe to the height we want it on the top side here. That's about where we want it. Maybe give that one a bump down. Then we're going to move down here. Check this section. Now what we're seeing here on this side is the opposite of the top side. Just a smidge lower on this side. So what we can do is move this pipe over, see if it changes it a bit. So what we'll have to do probably is dig this side of the pipe down just a bit. This pipe over here is probably pretty good. We could use a little gravel in here maybe. Then what we're going to do is check our pipes this way. And depending on how much of a pitch you put on this whole area with your laser, it's going to vary what you have for a bubble on here. Right here we're about touching the line on our 6-foot level. So if we're touching the line here, I want to be able to transfer over to this side and we have the same exact pitch of just touching the line, that same slope. Whether you're touching the line, quarter of a bubble, that's going to depend on what type of level you have and what type of slope you put on your patio. So as long as that slope doesn't vary from touching the line here to quarter of a bubble here, otherwise you'll see your ups and downs and waves in the patio like that. This is the most important part of the whole patio, is getting the base just perfect, because once you lay the patio on this, if there's ups, downs, highs, and lows, you really can't control that because your float layer is in and your base is in, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So we're going to do a little more tweaking on these pipes to get these a little bit better. I think what we're going to do is lower this here. The other thing you want to factor in when you're doing this is that when you go to compact your pavers the final time when you put your sand in, you're going to have about a 1/4 inch of settling from that sand being compacted down. So when you take your measurements on the laser and everything like that, you want to make sure you have that 1/4 inch of settling adjusted into your whole patio. Doesn't take much. Because this has got a couple of loose rocks, we're just going to jump on it a bit to get that pipe to settle down to where it's going to want to rest. Check everything again. Alright, so that's good there. And we'll check the top side of the pipe and see if it's any better. It's a little bit better. We can come up just a hair more. Right about there. So we'll sprinkle some gravel around it to bring the area that we adjusted the pipe to, the gravel in that area, up to the same height, so none of the sand compacts more than the other sand or anything like that. And then we'll continue doing that throughout the whole patio all the way over as we screed it. What we'll do is take these pipes, check the whole patio before we move the pipes to screed it. Get the whole patio checked to make sure it's good, come back to our first place here where we're going to start, and then start screeding from there, and then move the pipes back to the patio as we screed. So we're going to go through the whole patio and level this whole thing up perfectly. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got our sand in, we're starting to lay some pavers. Essentially all we did was level the pipes like we were just showing you. We screeded the sand out, and then after that you can start laying the pavers on. The only thing you want to be careful of is when you're dumping your sand on top of the pipes, you want to make sure you're not dumping a whole wheelbarrow or a whole skid loader bucket on it at once. Because what can happen is some of the sand can get pushed underneath the pipes from all the force of it coming down or like flying out, and it could lift up the pipe a little bit, throwing your level off a little bit. So every time we set pipes, we throw a few piles of sand with a shovel, set them on top of the pipes, 5-6 of them, and then go from there with our sand. So after that point, really your base is pretty much done. It's just screeding it out and going on with the patio and laying the patio up. I'm gonna get some water.
Dun 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 dun. Right, Dan.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. That's essentially how you install the base and kind of get going on installing your first patio. We still got a little bit more to do on this project here, but that's going to be it for this video. If you guys want to see how we do some of the other stuff on these projects and do some of these soldier pieces or stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys learned a few things from this video, and if you learned something, let me know in the comments below what you learned or what you like to see in here, and can give me a better gauge what you guys want to see next time. So appreciate everyone tuning in and watching the video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it or learned something, and let me know in the comments below what you liked and what you didn't. So we'll see you guys next time.